So, oh man, got ice water starter. So it's a man in the building. In the building, oh, I'm sorry. Hey, I know I'm high.
All right, Ready to Love episode 2 review. I'm out here at the golf course trying to review. Please excuse the bacon neck. It's hot as hell outside. It's Houston, Texas. Look, I'm still trying to get this whole microphone and shirt thing working for me, so definitely excuse that. I'm outside. It's beautiful weather. Like I said, I'm here in Houston, Texas, and I am going to get into this Ready to Love review. Sorry for the country accent. I know some of y'all may think, like, man, this boy's a country bumpkin. But look, I'm from the South. I'm from H-Town. Let's get into this. Before we get too far into it, comment, like the video, subscribe to the video, go to my Instagram, subscribe to me on Instagram. I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm thirsty. I will fight for a couple of Instagram followers, so definitely do that. So this is episode 2, Let the Sparks Fly, Ready to Love review. I know I'm late on this review, but it is what it is. I've been busy as hell. Life has been busy. But I'm going to be more consistent on posting these videos. I started to go ahead and separate this video with the episode 3 review, but I was like, you know what? Episode 2 deserves its own attention. So let's get into it. I'm going to be scrolling through some notes that I got from the video. Just because, look, I pay attention to detail. All right. I want to make sure when I do this review for y'all out there, I'm going to be authentic. I'm going to be on point. And I'm gonna take good notes. All right, so look, the episode started with Brent kind of being the feature of the episode. Like I said, he was engaged in a lot of conversation. He got pulled to the side by Angie, who I think is, once again, like I said, very attractive woman. She's my type, short hair, nice, pretty, thick built. The point is this: he was in a conversation with Angie. And essentially Miss Aisha came over and kind of interrupted that conversation. She jumped in with the full court press, which I think is going to be important because she is an aggressive type of woman. And I think, as was mentioned in the first episode, when they kind of went through the first meet and greet, one of the things about the women in Atlanta is that they understand that, look, there's more women to men when you factor in the gay men, the gay population or whatever, that essentially, look, you're going to have to be aggressive and go for what you want. So she jumped in with Angie. I don't know what that's going to do for Angie and Brent's relationship going forward. But the fact is that she jumped in. She went ahead and said, look here, man, I want to invite you on a date. I think this is something me and you can do. Whoop-de-woo. Let's see if we can get it started. And it seemed like he was very impressed. What I didn't like is the fact that Angie got up from her seat and kind of removed herself from the situation. I get it. You're not trying to be a hater. You're trying to, say that, hey, if a man wants me, he's going to chase me. But the bottom line, you're on this show. It's a competition. So you got to be able to step up and assert yourself. So we're going to see where that goes. I missed the quick part. Actually, the episode actually started with the exchange between Brent and Mina. And the fact that she was a single mother. And the fact that she kind of broke down in front of him about being a single mother. About the fact that, hey, her and the father of her child don't really have a relationship. My first initial impression on that is, look, I get it. She's a single mother. It's one of those things that it's like, hey, she's going through a lot. She's feeling a lot. But there's two sides to every story with that. And I think she's giving away too much. I think it makes her a little bit too vulnerable. And if I was a man sitting in that situation, first thing that'll come to my mind is, am I willing to deal with all of this? Like, she seems like she has a lot of drama. Am I willing to deal with this? Let's fast forward to Jimmy. And like I said, I'm going to bounce around with essentially the people that kind of stood out to me. Jimmy, once again, I think Jimmy, as far as the whole scenario and the perception of how they're filming Ready to Love this season, Jimmy is falling into this category of essentially being kind of untrustworthy, as if he's manipulating multiple women, as if he's going back and forth with Alexis and with Kimber, which I don't think is a negative, for the simple fact that, hey, that's the part of the show. That's a part of the process. And I think that's something that the women tend to forget about, especially in season 1. The women kind of got crossed up with Aaron with that situation. And the fact that he kind of went back and forth with multiple women, it seemed like he wasn't really assertive with one, but the idea of the game is to find love, and you're on this process, and that you have to go through multiple women. So you essentially gonna have to spread yourself thin at some point. Some people can do a better job at it than others. Some people don't. But I think that's one of the things that's kind of hurt Aaron in last season. I think Jimmy's kind of getting locked into that situation, especially with him, with Alexis. And I think Alexis, once again, she's gonna come back to be a thorn in Jimmy's side. I think him and Kimber is a natural match. I said that in the casting episode. Both of them in real estate, both of them in the same industry. I'm pretty sure their paths have crossed at some point in the game, and I think that because of that, she knows a little bit about him, because he seems to be, or at least he presents himself as being kind of a successful realtor in Atlanta, and I pretty much know that circle is kind of small. So because of that, I think him and Kimber are a good match, as I said before. But I think the idea with Jimmy, or the problem with the Jimmy, is that he's gonna have to pay attention very careful to what he says. All these women are pretty much putting him in a box of he's a salesman. He's kind of just gassing them up. I don't want to say a true liar, but hey, you got to understand, one of the big things with black women is this: they love to catch you in a lie. It's kind of like a vindication for that women's intuition. You got to pay attention to it. It's something he's got to be careful for. Which kind of brings me to Alexis, who's another person who I got strong opinions about. Look, Alexis is very sexy, right? I think that she is very attractive. I think she's one of those women that understand. Let's say this. She's a person that knows the room. She knows when she walks into the room that she's an attractive woman, that she's going to carry the room, she's going to control the room. And because of that, I think that kind of initiates a lot of different thoughts with men with her. Men are kind of going to be just naturally attracted to her because she has that confidence. It's a kind of an athletic confidence that comes with her. That one of the things I spoke about in the last video, she reminds me of a female athlete. I think she has an athletic background. Because of her confidence, she walks in the room, she controls the room. Because of that, she's going to be able to attract a man. She's going to be able to attach a man to her. And essentially with Alexis, and she spoke with during the casting process about she needs to find a man that's willing to lead. I don't think her problem is finding a man that's willing to lead. I think it's the fact that essentially, look, Alexis is going to get you. She's going to kind of pimp you for a little bit. And as soon as she gets what she wants out of you, you mince meat, she's on to the next one. So, and we saw that, like I said, in the like I said, we saw that with Alexis. Initially when she made it to the, I think it wasn't like a painted silk. I think it was called a sip and plant. Essentially, it's the same thing as like a painted silk. The bottom line is she arrived late, and I think she arrived late for a reason. Reason is that she arrived late is the fact that Alexis wants to command the room all the time. She's gonna command your attention. That's the bottom line. So she arrived late. And, right initially when she walked in and set in, Jimmy once again went into, hey, look, what you late for? What you doing? She said she had to handle a little bit of business. Whether that's something she had to do or not, I don't know. The bottom line is that I think she intentionally arrived late. Why? Think about it when you arrive late to kind of a gathering or intimate setting. First thing is when you walk in, the attention is going to immediately turn to you. And it's going to be the first question out of anybody's mouth. Hey, what was you doing? Why was you late? She knew that. I think that was the goal. No matter what time that event started, she was going to arrive, I guess you can say, fashionably late. The bottom line is to make sure that attention is on her. She's smart. She's crafty. And she basically drew Jimmy in. And you can see that how it affected Kimber. You can see how that attracted Terrell, who was on some, can't curse through this video, but he was on some homeboy stuff, bringing up that whole heart-giving deal that Jimmy was doing. I ain't gonna lie to you, that was low-key play hating. It is what it was. Sorry about the bacon net, y'all. But that was low-key play hating. You know what I'm saying? That was old school hate. You didn't have to do that. You could have left that alone. You kept on Prime. Really didn't like that move by him. Mike and Divine, they went out on a date. You can pretty much call them twins. In my opinion, they might as well just sit at the table with two mirrors looking at each other. I mean, they're the same person. You know, Mike, once again, in my personal opinion, he flat out just lacks confidence. You know, I think he's a FedEx truck driver. And dudes are used to, I think he's a guy that is used to just going somewhere, women being attracted to him. He look like he's an in-shape brother. He look like he's a tall brother. He got the bald head. He got a whole look going on. So women that are attracted to that look naturally give him attention. And that's what he's used to. So he's used to being able to create conversation with the woman when he is in a position of leverage. You can see it when he went and started a conversation with Alexis when she was talking to London. You can see it with him talking to Divine on this date. He lacks the confidence and the kind of the spark to be able to create a meaningful conversation to engage a woman. He's used to playing from a position of leverage. When they see him, they like him, they see the tall, they see the bald head, they see the dark skin, and initially it's one of those things like, okay, look, I already got her. There's not too much I really have to say. She's already made this decision for herself, so let's go into it. Divine, I think what she is running into, the problem is she's one of those women that don't understand what she's presenting, or she's just lying to herself about what she's presenting. The ideal is this: your presentation, and that's where they call the nephew Tommy was talking about it in another episode. Essentially, your representative. What are you showing? You know, that's not really you. And that's one of those things that she does. She kind of shows a representative of herself that, you know, she says it's not her, but the reality, you know, I can only take you at face value. When I see you, it's not because you're light skinned. It's because you present yourself as someone that is kind of superficial, into yourself, high maintenance, and it just comes off right that way. And it's not just an air of confidence that you have; it's what you're presenting. And you may want to take a look at that and try to figure out what is it that I'm doing that's presenting that constant reminder of picking that up. Not saying that it's something that a strong man, isn't willing to kind of deal with, or just continue through and make that conversation. But you do have to ask yourself, okay, when I meet this woman, kind of what am I getting into? Is this something that I really want to get into? And that's something I think, like with Mina, she has to recognize, am I too much? Do I have too much emotional baggage going on? And what does that do to a man that, you know, potentially is attracted to me? So once again, like I said, man, you know, Mike, I don't know how long he's going to be on this show. If I was one of the women, I'll vote him off. The brother just don't seem like he's bringing anything to the table. And Divine is one of those that I have to kind of take a look at and say, look, what is she bringing to the table? Outside of thinking that she is the baddest woman in the room. Next, you know, we kind of follow up with Mina. And the deal with Mina is this. Very sexy, attractive, chocolate woman, in my opinion. But I think baby needs a therapist. I think she got to go work on herself before she's in any position to find a man. She's in any position to look for love. She's in any position to get into a full, all-out relationship. I think she needs to go to therapy. I think she's just emotionally all over the place. Which brings me back, like I said, to the beginning of the episode, the conversation initially with Brent. You know, after nephew Tommy said, look here, we need you guys to go on dates. We need you guys to kind of figure out what's going on. Look, when Brent asked her about herself, asked her about her son, she just broke down emotionally. And to me, that's a red flag. Like, am I really willing to deal with all this that you got going on? I don't know. Then, you know, we kind of fast forward. You know, to just the situation with her just kind of trying to, kind of flipping out later on. I just don't know. I don't know about Nina. I think she's great. I think she's attractive. I think there's something there. But once again, I don't know if it's worth it. And, one of the things that I think about as far as her with the single parent story, I know this has been a man, someone who's been married. Look here. A man is not just going to turn his back on a child. There's always two sides to the story. And, I understand, like I said, a lot of single mothers, if you're watching this, you're not going to like it. But the fact of the matter is, it's usually something that's going on that's preventing that relationship. And although it makes common sense that, hey, you have a child, no matter what you're going on with the parent of your child, the bottom line is that, hey, you should be able to keep a relationship with your child no matter what the situation. But that comes hard. A lot of men understand that the potential or the mother of their child may use them as a pawn, like a chess piece in a game. And you just don't want to deal with that. You don't know if that's worth it. And, in my opinion, I think she's an attractive woman. I think she has substance to her. I think it's something that she can give you. But until she works out those issues, I don't know if it's much there. And kind of the last thing, just go through a quick few highlights of this episode. Like I said, Thundy, I'm still trying to figure out her ankle. She's sexy as hell to me. And if I was on the show, essentially that would be what I have from her right now. You're just sexy. It's something about that look. It's something about that face. It's something about that body. You just got me kind of essentially just, you just got me hooked. So because of that, that's why you're still there. The cat fight between Nina and Thundy, once again, that kind of shows me what I thought about Nina. Something sparked like this emotional just boom that she went on. I mean, like she's flipped the switch, started talking about the murder capital of the world. She from St. Louis, son, and all this other stuff. It's like, baby, you got too much emotions going on. You got to get that worked out. I think Thundy essentially kept herself very composed. I like that, my man, the tax accountant, the G-Daddy, that he was able to kind of see through that episode and say, hey, man, I like the way you compose yourself. I thought that they could potentially be a match. I think they did I think he did a good job of pulling her to the side and letting her know how much he respected how she composed herself, how she handled that situation. Now let's get into the end of the show. Chica. Look here, I said at the beginning, Chica, it's something about Chica I just don't know. And I think he kind of exposed himself in this episode. And I wonder if that's going to come back to haunt him. Just for the simple fact that it's like, look, man, you responded like a broad. You responded like a woman. These women were talking to each other. You kind of got in a cat fight between two women that was essentially trying to work out their differences. Yes, I give you credit, my boy. You was doing a good job of trying to bring these women together, but you got too emotionally tied up in it. Even though, I'm going to defend him on this point. I think women have a bad habit of figuring out or assuming that they can essentially confront a man, and I don't know if that's a strong word, but talk to a man in a certain tone. And then jump back on this docile tip of, well, you're a man, you're not supposed to respond to me. No man's supposed to raise his voice at a woman. No. Look here. When you attack somebody or when you confront somebody and you use a certain tone, the bottom line is that you opening yourself up for them to respond back to you in that same tone. So he has two options. He could have fell back or he could have did what he did. The point is that he responded to you in a way that he thought you responded to him. And women got to understand that, man. You can't be talking out the side of your neck and just expect every man to fall back and say, okay, you're a lady, I'll let you have it. Nah, it don't work like that. Yeah, it just don't work like that, man. And I don't understand where this idea come from or where it came from that, hey, man, I can just, handle a man in whatever situation I want to handle him, and I expect for him to respond to me the way I think he's supposed to respond. It does not work like that. When you respond to a man, or when two men are having a conversation, you know that there's a certain tone that you got to take with the man, because you know it can escalate the situation further than maybe what you was wanting it to go, or maybe where it was intended to go. And so because of that, hey, look, women, you got to do a better job of that, ladies. You got to. You know what I'm saying? If you want to be treated with a certain amount of decorum and respect, that same thing has to be exhibited by you. So, that's my deal about Chica, even though I still think what he did was a broad move, because I think he overreacted and he didn't have to go that way. In my opinion, I'm forgetting her name. It's slipping my tongue, slipping my mind. My thing is, I think Dorian, there we go. That was a situation, in my opinion, where if I was Dorian, I would have stepped in and I would have said, hey, I would have grabbed, who's the girl that he's feeling? Ashima. I would have grabbed Ashima by the hands. I would have walked her out of that situation. And I would say, look here, baby. Look, I need to talk to you. Let's move away from this. That'd have been a good way of moving her from the situation. Even if he didn't want to confront Chica about what he was doing, which I thought was overstepping. I thought that was unnecessary. But it's a way you can do those things. You can grab her by the hand and say, look here, baby girl. I want to talk to you to the side. Let's move to the side. Let's get you out the situation. Because you can tell that, she wasn't expecting Chica to go at her at that level. But, I think Ashima, because of her presentation, like I said, she's a tall woman, she's a very thick woman, and she has that homeboy feel because she's a comedian. I think Chica kind of handled her a little bit too rough, in my opinion. And like I said, I didn't like that, not because she was a woman, because I think what he did was just a broad move. The last thing, let's go through a couple of deals. The OG carrot. OG impressing me. I think the OG carrot may make it to the end. I thought he was going to be a quick boot off, but he's impressing me, man. There's something about that boy carrot, the OG. He's doing it, man. He got that game wrapped tight. And I think the last person that's on here I want to talk about, like I said, was Terrell. I think Terrell need a big brother. I don't know if he is totally comfortable, as he put off doing the casting video about being able to talk one-on-one with these women. I think he's a good brother. I think he got a lot going on for himself. But, I think that move that he pulled was kind of just a grasp for, look here, I'm trying to survival mode, when it was at the paint and the sip, or the paint and the plant, or the sip and plant, sorry, in which he started, bringing up Jimmy passing out all these hearts. That was unnecessary. That was a foul move. You didn't have to do that. Sorry, that was looking over my shoulder. I saw a bird. Anyway, I was distracted. But the bottom line is that was unnecessary. That was a foul move. I didn't like that. That kind of exposes a little bit of your personality. Or what happens when you get in a situation, what you gonna grasp for? You gonna grasp for low hanging fruit. You gonna put me out in front of Kimber. You gonna put me out in front of Alexis. I'm kind of feeling them both. That was foul. And finally at the end, we got two kickoffs from this show. The guys made their choice, and they decided to vote Angie off, which I didn't intentionally. I didn't initially like that. I think Angie provided a little bit more than what she was giving. So because of that, I wasn't a big fan of that. I think in my opinion, I would have probably voted off Mina. As much as I hate the fact that, she would have been voted off because I think she's physically attractive. I think it's too much baggage. And because of that, I just would have told her, hey, baby, it's not saying that you're not ready to love, or it's not saying that you're not an attractive woman, but I think you got too much going on. I think you need to figure this out, and we're going to have to see you. But they decided to make the move with Angie. I like how she kind of walked off the stage. She walked off with grace. It didn't seem like she was too disturbed. I think she was kind of, blindsided by the decision, but I wouldn't have voted her off. And then the ladies decided to vote off, what can you say, Mike? And like I said, you saw that coming a mile away. Mike didn't really have a chance. You can tell that he wasn't engaging these women at all. He wasn't giving them what they needed. And, that was an easy vote. It just really was easy. But look, that's my Ready to Love review for that episode. please, once again, follow, like the video, subscribe to the video, comment to the video. Go to my Instagram, which will be there, or here, or maybe even here. Subscribe to my Instagram, follow me. Look here, I have no problem saying that I don't mind fighting for an Instagram follow. I'm out. Peace.